Okay, so you wanted to explore how Christianity first began to take root in China.
Yeah.
Buckle up, because William Milne's story is anything but ordinary. We're diving deep into the early 1800s.
Really a fascinating period.
China was practically a closed book to the outside world.
Very true.
And this lone pioneer, Robert Morrison, you've heard of him, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He's just starting to make some headway when along comes William Milne. And let me tell you, Milne's background, it's not what you'd expect from a future missionary powerhouse.
That's putting it mildly.
We're talking rural, Scotland, orphaned, young, a kid who felt more at home tending sheep than he ever did listening to sermons.
It makes you wonder what sparked that incredible drive within him.
Absolutely. Really does. So picture this young Milne travels all the way to London for this big interview with the London Missionary Society.
This is a big deal.
Huge, right? He's this rough around the edges Scotsman standing there before this panel of learned men, and they almost don't send him.
Really?
Almost. I mean, can you imagine the scene?
Well, back then there was this prevailing idea that missionaries going to a place as sophisticated as China, they had to be almost superhuman.
Right.
Fluent in multiple languages, masters of science and philosophy polish, you name it.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the amazing part. Milne's response, when they express their doubts, he doesn't get defensive at all.
How does he react?
He basically says, look, I just want to serve their doubt, even if it means being the most insignificant helper on this mission.
Wow.
I know, right? That sincerity, that pure dedication, it really got to them. It cut through all those preconceived notions about what a missionary should be. So despite not fitting the mold, they saw something special in Milne, gave him some basic training, and boom, he's off to China.
You make it sound so simple.
Or so he thought. Little did he know his real adventure was just beginning.
I bet.
So Milne set sail all gung-ho, ready to make a difference.
Yeah.
Bam, reality hits him like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, it rarely goes according to plan, does it?
Not this time. He gets to Macau, this Portuguese trading post.
Right.
Expecting maybe a red carpet, who knows.
Okay.
Instead, they practically shove him right back on the boat.
You can't underestimate the political climate back then. The Portuguese in Macau, they were walking a tightrope.
Oh, wait.
Trying to keep the Chinese happy, not upset the Catholic missions already there, Protestant missionaries.
Yeah, not exactly top of the guest list.
Not at all.
Talk about a reality check.
Yeah.
So what does Milne do? He doesn't give up. No way. He spends years bouncing around Southeast Asia looking for a base of operations. That's how he ends up in Malacca, modern-day Malaysia.
Interesting.
Not China, but talk about a strategic move. What was so special about Malacca?
Malacca. It was under British rule.
Yeah.
That meant freedom of the press.
Which is huge in this story.
Absolutely. China had all those restrictions on printing Christian materials.
Right.
But in Malacca, Milne had the freedom to, spread the word.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
And that's where this legendary printing press comes in, the Malacca press. This wasn't just some side hop.
It revolutionized everything.
I was going to say game changer.
It was Milne's weapon, you could say. He knew the power of the written word, especially in a culture that revered scholarship. Think about it. Mass-produced Bibles, Christian literature in Chinese. Something unthinkable back in China.
Like a secret passageway, right?
Yeah.
Bypassing those closed borders with the might of the printing press. But we can't just skim over the actual translation process.
Oh, no.
This is long before dictionaries, Google Translate. How do you even begin to translate the Bible into Chinese?
It was a Herculean effort. Imagine taking ancient Hebrew Greek texts full of cultural historical weight and finding their counterparts in Chinese, a language with its own incredible depth and symbolism.
Right.
How do you translate grace, redemption, heck, even something as basic as God?
My head's spinning just trying to picture it. I mean, the debates they must have had, every phrase, every word choice.
Constant back and forth, trying to stay true to the original meaning while making it understandable for a Chinese audience.
It's more than just a translation project. It's like they were building a bridge between two worlds.
Precisely.
Right.
And this is where the partnership between Milne and Robert Morrison back in China, that's where it really shines.
Okay, so they're not just colleagues on this.
Yeah.
They're pioneers.
They spent years painstakingly going over every verse, every single one, making sure it was accurate, but also accessible.
Wow.
A testament to their shared vision, their commitment to making the Christian faith understandable in a totally different cultural context.
It's just incredible to think about the dedication that took, translating the entire Bible into Chinese.
And it wasn't just about the words themselves, right? They were creating this whole new way for the Chinese people to understand these ancient stories, these really deep ideas.
It really makes you appreciate the scope of it all. But Milne's story doesn't stop at the Bible.
Oh, no, not even close.
He also co-founds this school, Yinghua College in Malacca.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bigger than just spreading the gospel. It's about education, too.
What was so unique about this college?
Well, Yinghua College was way ahead of its time. Milne's idea was to make it this bridge between East and West.
A place where Chinese students could study their own classic texts, but also Western subjects. You know, science, literature, things like that.
Wow. That's pretty rare for back then, right?
Incredibly rare, Milne. He truly believed in the power of education, and he saw Yinghua College as a way to prepare future Chinese leaders, to give them a global perspective. You know, he wanted to equip them to engage with the rest of the world on their own terms, to bridge those cultural gaps through knowledge and understanding.
Such a powerful vision.
Yeah.
It's amazing how one man who wasn't even considered scholarly enough at the beginning could have such a huge impact on education.
Yeah.
Did Milne's vision for the school survive? Did it last?
It did. The original location in Malacca, it did eventually close.
Okay.
But Yinghua College, it found a new home in Hong Kong, and it's still operating today.
Good. Nice.
It's a very well-respected boys' school.
Wow. So Milne's legacy, it lives on, not just through the translated Bible, but also through this incredible school that's still educating students all these years later.
Exactly. It really makes you think, how different might the story of Christianity in China have been without William Milne? And how about the relationship between China and the West? It's a question worth considering.
It really is. Milne's story reminds us that sometimes the most unexpected people can spark huge change.
That's right.
He may have started as a shepherd, but his dedication, his vision, his absolute grit, it left its mark on history.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder who else is out there, right?
It does.
Waiting for their story to be told.
Keep asking those questions. Keep exploring those forgotten parts of history. You never know what incredible journeys you'll find.
So true. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today, everybody.